Hey guys, I'm going to revisit a topic that I've talked about on a number of videos in the past, but it's been a while, so I'm going to revisit this because the other day I posted this video where I was doing tricep extensions with a full stack, and obviously it was kind of cheat reps. It was kind of more doing partials on the extension and things. I know it's not proper form or whatever, and trust me, that's not how I do every set. I do actual proper sets, but regardless, I'm going to explain the rhyme and reasoning and rationale of why, even if you are not doing proper form when you're lifting heavy, it's going to help you carry out onto other lifts, specifically on the isolation movements, okay? Because, for example, on things like bench press, for me, I know my weak spot is my triceps, okay? So when I'm lifting, say, 225 pounds and, I'm getting up to like past 5 reps, you know what I mean? It's going to be, my triceps are going to be the weak link, okay? So how do you fix that is by doing heavy tricep extensions, but you don't have to be doing tricep extensions in the full, heavy that is, with a full stretch. In fact, I recommend not doing that because that's where the potential for injury is going to happen when you're lifting heavy on an isolation movement, okay? So you only have to do partials, and specifically in the last, I'm going to say, half of the movement, okay? For that tricep is going to be the lockout, okay? Now, obviously on other sets, you're going to do full stretch. I recommend doing full stretch. But again, this isn't about bodybuilding per se. This is about strength training. Just as, the difference between a deadlift and a rack pull, if you understand what I'm talking about there. Because the rack pull is just that locking out portion of it. And then when you lift heavier on the rack pulls, it's going to translate for you to lift heavier on the deadlifts, okay? Because it's training like your traps, your arms, like grip strength and things like that. Other aspects where it might be your weak link on the deadlift, correct? So this is what I'm going to. This is why I'm explaining here when it comes down to doing like heavy tricep extensions where you don't have to go full range of motion, okay? Because I would not recommend necessarily doing heavy on isolation movements, full range of motion, because like it's training more than just the muscle itself, as well as training the nervous system, the neuromuscular connection, and as well the connective tissue as well, okay? But at the same time, it's conditioning your muscle for that type of load. So this isn't something you're going to do every set. In fact, you're not necessarily going to do it every time you go to the gym, but you throw the odd one in there, okay? And trust me, especially when you're doing a steroid cycle, like I am, where I'm blasting right now, if you throw these in, your body is going to adapt to it really fast. Really fast. Like every time you go and you do like a one set that's like super heavy of one particular exercise, your body's going to adapt to that fast, and it's going to, believe it or not, I believe, add to the pump a bit more, because what you're doing is you're activating the type 2 muscle fibers more, as opposed to just type 1, which is going to be more of the volume training. Now you do activate type 2 as well, but it's a difference between doing like a 400 meter run and like a 50 meter sprint as hard as you can, or 100 meter sprint, right? The sprinters have, compared to long distance runners, have a lot more bigger leg muscles, okay? Because they're activating different type of type 2 fibers, specifically in the legs. But when it comes down to even like any compound movement on your upper body, doing those heavy isolation movements, even though the form might be completely shit. For example, you might be doing really heavy bicep curls, and you're kind of throwing a little bit of body weight into it. That's fine, okay? This is actually like a cheat to actually gaining building strength and size, especially for guys who aren't already big. Like if you want to put on strength and size fast, this is how to do it. This is how I've done it successfully in the past. Now, again, you're not neglecting the proper form. You know what I mean? Doing proper, concentric, and you know what I mean, with the timing, really just focusing on those. I do those too. I do those with cables, say on a tricep extension, really slow, focused, you know what I mean? But then again, also I throw in that triangle bar and I just fucking pound out those really heavy ones too, even though I might not be going full range of motion. It does not matter. Trust me, it's going to translate to when you actually go to the bench press. You do those for a few weeks, condition your muscles for heavy, especially when you're doing these blasts. Then you go to the fucking bench press and you'll be lifting way better, especially for locking out. That's going to be that's my major point. Like when I'm on bench press, I like get the first half, and then I have trouble locking out. Well, doing the triangle bar, where you're just like doing super heavy locking out, it's going to build muscle there. This is like a little cheat code that I've learned in the past, and because you get these bodybuilding purists and things where it's just like, no, it's if it's not proper form, it doesn't count or whatever else. Man, like not everything is about, you know, doing proper form and full range of motion. For example, like boxing punches, there's a lot of boxing punches where you don't go full range of motion. It's just partial. Or like a jump. Like when you jump, I don't go ass to the grass and then leap up. It's like almost like a halfway. It's like that last extension part, right? So this is actually more functional, specifically for my boxing as well. Throwing strong punches is going to be in that last snap in the extension, and putting on a lot of. And you're not going to do the full range of motion again. You're not training the stretched part, necessarily the muscle. It's going to be just like that. It's just doing part. It's just a partial. That's what it is. Especially after you've done a bunch of compound movements and other types of things, you throw one really heavy set on. Trust me, and you're going to activate the muscle in a different way. Now be careful, because you don't want to snap shit up. That's why sometimes I don't even recommend full range of motion. Like if I was to do, it's just like perfect example is the rack pull. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be doing that much weight as I would on a rack pull on a like a sumo squat or some shit, or like not a sumo squat, sumo deadlift, right? But it's going to translate to the sumo deadlift if you're able to do heavier rack pulls. It's just as simple as that. This is one thing that sometimes people can't wrap their mind around in the bodybuilding community, and a lot of guys who are bodybuilders are all about just doing the proper form for volume. They're not about going heavy anyway, and a lot of these guys are already big, so they already have the size and strength already. So this, like, maybe they're not looking to build more strength. They're just looking for the hypertrophy. That's fine. For me, I'm taking a bit of a different approach, and I'm sharing my approach because I believe there is value in what I'm saying here. And I've heard a lot of pro bodybuilders in the past talk about cheat reps as being kind of the cheat to actually get big too. It's one thing that maybe people aren't taking into account because they just see it as not doing a proper form, which is understandable. And like I said, you're not going to be doing this for every exercise. It's going to has its specific little niche use. Throwing it in once in a while. And if you are working on something like putting on weight on your bench press, trust me, throw some extra weight, do full stacks of the triangle bar push downs, even though you might not be doing full range of motion. It doesn't matter, man. It's going to translate in your arm, and feel your arms afterwards. You're activating more muscles than you would if you were just doing like 15 reps type of sets. Okay, I'll leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.